Will Ospreay wants a match with Pac at AEW's Forbidden Door. Luke Jacobs wins the Progress Atlas tournament. Big Damo and Warren Banks have been announced for Super Strong Style 16. WXW performers will battle it out for a spot in this year's Super Strong Style 16. WPW have announced a deal with FITE TV to stream Summer Spectacular live on pay-per-view. Alexander Hammerstone and Ace Austin have been announced for 1PW's new Twist of Fate. Tony Deppen coming to Rev Pro UK's Cruel Intentions. TNT Extreme Wrestling unveil new Women's Tag Team Championship belts. Wrestle Carnival announced the Wrestle Carnival Pure Championship. And Tyson Fury says don't rule him out from appearing at WWE's premium live event in Cardiff. You know who we are. We are the TNT, the Great British... Start again. You know who we are. We are TNT, the Great British Podcast. Oh, I still fluffed it. We are TNT, the Great British Wrestling Podcast for Great British... I'm just going to give up now, aren't I? Yeah, I am the Great British Otaku, Mr. Andrew Moore, Andy Two Most. He is Big Daddy Dan, Daniel Allen, just Dan for short. And I'm just giving up already. Just goes, you know, we can't be positive about things, so we might as well just give up about things and just go, oh. Anyway.
We have exciting news. Exciting news we can pronounce. Let's start off with one that I'm really excited about. I want to see Will Ospreay against Pac again. I think that this would be an absolute headliner match. I think Pac isn't being used to his full potential in AEW, and this could really propel him back up to where he should be. I want to see lots of matches at the Forbidden Door Super Show, but Will Ospreay versus Pac has got to be the one that I want to see the most.
Indeed, it was my Brit WrestleMania main event for that exact reason. I actually thought Pac beat him in their only encounter, but it was actually apparently a time limit draw. So, yeah, this is just going to be an incredible match if it comes to bid. And yes, there are lots of great matches. Obviously, we would like to see if with this AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view, you know, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson is right up there.
Yeah, that would be cool as well.
Right up there. But, you know, not to put a damper on things, you know, well, actually, sorry, to put a damper on things because we can't be positive, that, you know, there's probably only going to be 2 to 3 marquee matches and the rest will be tag or team matchups.
That is an assumption.
It is an assumption, but it's the way to... Typically, every faction has somebody who can take a pin without your big star getting beat. And this helps promotions when doing these type of shows, you know, because they can just say, oh, well, he beat him, not one of our top stars.
Yeah.
So it's a way to save face. But, you know, that is 100% assumption. I don't want it to be true. But if you look at the NJPW Noah Super show they did back in January, literally every match was a team match. They had no marquee matches. And so I'm assuming we definitely won't get that with AEW. We will get a couple of marquee matches at a minimum, though, I think. Yeah. It should be a fantastic event no matter what. In fact, you know what we should do next week? We should do AEW versus Your Roster Super Show, and I should do New Japan or AEW. I'll do AEW because if we do New Japan, and this is another big fear actually, that this could be an all-man show. Because New Japan don't have any women.
Mm-hmm.
But Bushiroad, the promotion, the company that owns New Japan Wrestling, also own Stardom Wrestling. So hopefully we'll see some Stardom. That would be amazing. But they also have the connection with Tokyo Joshi Pro. But as I say, if it's just NJPW, it's going to be an all-male pay-per-view, and that's not going to sit well with some people. But, you know, let's do super shows, me and you, your roster versus AEW, my roster versus AEW. We will do that next week. It should be fantastic. We really want to see Will Ospreay versus Pac. it should be a great match. And I think Dan has frozen, so I'm just going to keep going for a minute. Progress Wrestling, having Luke Jacobs won the Progress Atlas tournament. A fantastic achievement for the young man. He went through Big Damo in the first round. He then defeated the old folk, Warren Banks, in the semi-finals. Of course, those two have had their battles throughout the Progress New Generation, or the Empty Arena era, if you like. And eventually beating the former Bronson Reed, Big Jonah, or just Jonah, in the finals. And yeah, Luke Jacobs stood tall. I am surprised. I am super happy. I am, I'm extremely positive about the fact that they put a belt on a young British superstar that has been a big part of their new generation, rather than going for the big stars that they could have put the belt on. And I think that is a fantastic statement made by Progress Wrestling. If we will push young British talents, and there are a lot of young British talents that deserve to be pushed.
Have you mentioned your interview yet?
No, I was very lucky enough. Thank you very much, Dan, to tee me up there. I was really, really lucky to speak to Luke Jacobs just this past Thursday. We sat down, we talked about, winning. We went through the matches. He talked about how the fact that he is not fazed by those bigger names. He liked being in the underdog in the tournament. We talked about the fact that he is a junior super heavyweight hybrid because he's, on that cusp of being able to compete in both. And we also talked Northwest Strong, Rio, and whether we should see Scott Oberman or Keenan in the Natural Progression series, which of course was a result we can get, as of course we should. And I can't wait to see this show. I really can't wait to see the Atlas weekend when it comes available in the next couple of weeks on the WWE Network or on Demand Progress. Wherever it drops first is where I'm going to be watching it, because I'm really excited to watch this thing. I've really enjoyed New Generation. I think Lee McAteer and Martin Best are doing a fantastic job with Progress Wrestling so far, and hopefully it can continue.
I agree, and I'd also like to give him a shout out for how well the Progress area for the Love of Wrestling has been used this weekend, judging by social media. It looks like it's been an absolutely great time for the Love of Wrestling, and the Progress setup looked absolutely brilliant.
And you got to see more of the Lana and Lee McAteer ongoing saga, which has just been outstanding on social media. And yes, media, we shouldn't be biased about promotion, but it's promotion that's doing good things right now. And it is a clean slate for this Progress. This isn't the former management. This isn't the former team behind Progress anymore. This is a new Progress, and we should get behind it.
We've got lots more news, including Progress Chapter 134. No Mountain High Enough has been announced on the 15th of May at the Electric Ballroom in London.
And RKJ, Ricky Knight Jr. is set to make his debut, and it is against Leon Slater. That match is going to be excellent.
It's going to be brilliant. No two ways about it. And also announced, Cara Noir will finally get his hands on Spike Trivet after Spike cost Noir his championship at Progress Chapter 130 and delivered one of the most brutal attacks ever seen in wrestling, where he chained Cara Noir up by the throat and battered him with a steel chair.
Indeed. And that is available to see on the WWE Network. But as I say, Ricky Knight Jr. making his debut. I'm so excited for that. 21 years old. It's about time. He's been main eventing now with Rev Pro UK. He's held that extremely fantastic main event against Will Ospreay at York Hall. And one other thing is Leon Slater is an absolute superstar waiting to happen at 17 years old. He is the absolute sensation. Carnival versus Spike. This is going to get violent.
Exceedingly.
This is going to get more violent than it has already been. And that's exciting.
I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. But even more Progress news. Gene Money will finally get his chance to face Jonathan Gresham for a place in this year's Super Strong Style 16. That's a match that we know Gene's very excited about from when he spoke to us a couple of weeks back.
Indeed. Yeah, because obviously this was supposed to happen at the Atlas weekend, but Jonathan Gresham had the concussion, wasn't able to travel, wasn't able to compete. So really looking forward to seeing how this match plays out, because Gene Money said he is literally going to clothesline his head off and make him poop his pants.
Yes.
And that is a direct quote, by the way.
And make certain appendages drop off.
Yeah, Gene Money is absolutely up for this, and it should be fantastic. Two people we know for definite will be in the Super Strong Style 16, and that is Warren Banks and Big Damo. And I'm very, very, very pleased for this, because I was worried that people who were in the Atlas tournament weren't going to be in the Super Strong Style 16. I was wrong. My fears were wrong. I can be wrong in things. This does happen occasionally.
It happened again in a little bit.
It happened quite badly in a little bit. But as I say, this should be fantastic. And Big Damo's another. It's keeping that big name and big boy. And of course, the first entrant is Swerve the Reader. So we now have 3 entrants, and they'll be releasing new entrants every day at 5 p.m. on their social media platforms. So make sure you keep an eye out on that.
Let's move away from Progress, but not very far.
Yes. Because at chapter 134, WXW superstars will compete in a fatal 4-way for a shot in this year's Super Strong Style 16. That includes Axel Tiska, the former Alexander Wolf, Jörn Simmons, the current WXW Unified World Champion and a 3-time WXW Unified Champion, Maggot, the current Shotgun Champion and a 3-time Tag Team Champion, as part of the Pretty Bastards, and Bobby Guns, who was the longest reigning WXW Unified Championship. I'm really disappointed that only one of these people is getting a spot. But I'm really disappointed that only one of these people will get a spot, because I would love to see all of these guys. If I was to pick one, I think I'm going to have to go with Maggot. He may not be as tenured as the other 3. Well, he's the least known of the 3. Really just making his way up the ladder at the moment. He's got this way with the crowd in Germany right now. They're just falling behind him, despite the fact him being one of the most dastardly heels at one point. He'll have the Christian people after him, because he does like to wear a golden barbed wire wreath around his head at the moment, because he made Axel Tiska wear one during a cage match. Bobby Guns is fantastic. I'd also like to see him. He's, again, not probably well known to the UK audience. Jörn Simmons has been in Progress a few times and competed in a few others, like Defiant Wrestling in his time. Of course, everybody knows who Alexander Wolf is. So that's why I'd like to see either Guns or Maggot, just because they're less known, and I think it'd be interesting to give them some UK exposure.
Yeah.
What about you? Who would you like to see? I know you're familiar with some of these guys.
I am indeed. So because of that, I'd like to see the ones that I'm not so familiar with. I would like to see Bobby Guns. I've not seen really any of his work, apart from, I think, one match in WXW. So because I don't know him as well, he's who I'd like to see.
when the network gets up the 16 Carat show, you should 100% check out his match with Jonathan Gresham. It is unbelievably good.
I will give that a go.
Definitely worth a check out. And Mago, just check him out. He's just brilliant. WPW, World Pro Wrestling. They made an announcement that their Summer Spectacular will be broadcast live on FITE TV. And this is fantastic. This is something that the UK promotion hasn't done in a long, long time. And that's try to run some sort of live pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that's since Defiant.
Yeah. Defiant probably were the last company. I know people have asked Rev Pro UK if they would have attempted something like that. They've always said that they've, it's in the back of their minds, but it's not really been capable as yet. So it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. And of course, the main event, well, it's quite an event.
It's a goodie. It is the Ambassador, Doug Williams versus Yoshihiro Tajiri. Ooh.
Yes, Tajiri is coming back to the UK. It's been a little while. I think I can't remember the last time I saw him announced for something in the UK. I've seen him also been announced recently for OTT around the same time. So
and for UBW, he's going to be in my neck of the woods.
Oh, UPW, nice.
Yeah.
I'm a pro. Yeah, they've got Cheltenham, so yeah, not too far, I guess. So yeah, that's a good one. I think Doug Williams, Tajiri, it's an interesting matchup,
That'll be a good one, without doubt. Also recently announced, Yestin Reese will be in action as he faces Gianni Valletta, and has been announced former ECW champion Shane Douglas.
They're really trying to pull out some names at the moment. Gina Valle is a big name from Italy, a veteran coming over from Italy. And, Shane Douglas is the Shane
Gold
Douglas
on the microphone.
He's the franchise.
He's going to cut a scathing promo, I am sure.
I'm sure it'll be very interesting promo.
Now, talking about scathing promos, last week, you had a little bit of a moan about companies bringing in older names.
I did.
Called a company out for it, and they've kind of responded rather well, haven't they?
Yeah, they put their foot up my ass, then stuffed my foot in its mouth. Because, to be honest, this is huge because Alexander Hammerstone, MLW heavyweight champion, has been announced for a new Twist of Fate, which is on the 1st of October. And he is bringing with him the MLW World Heavyweight Champion and is looking for the best in the UK to challenge him. He mentioned names like Nathan Cruz, Robbie X, and Mark Haskins. I'd like to see Mark Haskins versus Hammerstone. Should that be a great match? Hammerstone, I think if you've not seen him, he's fantastic. He's a great big man and lot of power. He's a big man as well.
I loved some of his matches with Fatu. They've been brilliant.
Yeah, his match with Fatu was absolutely fantastic. And he's not going to be the only MLW talent that will head to 1PW because along with the Hammerstone announcement, it was announced that the two promotions will have come to a partnership. They will see talents from both promotions exchanged. Which again, I think this is really, really good. It's good to see British promotions working with other independent promotions, whether that be with other UK promotions or other international promotions. I'd certainly like to see a few promotions out there, maybe reach out to some of the European promotions because there are some fantastic performers across that side of the pond as well.
But from that side of the pond, announced for a new Twist of Fate, is three-time Impact X Division champion Ace Austin.
Yes, he just literally won the X Division for the third time at was it last night's Rebellion?
Yep.
In a triple threat against Trey Miguel and Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm sure it was going to be a phenomenal match. I haven't seen it, but I'm 100% sure it's going to be a great match. Ace Austin, if you have not seen him, he is a phenomenal young talent. I think even Will Ospreay at one point said that, yo, this dude's a phenomenal talent. So go check him out if you haven't seen him yet. And I believe both of them are going to be part of the Fan Slam meet and greet.
Also announced, Lizzie Evo and Michael Oku have been announced for New Twist of Fate on the 1st of October at the Doncaster Dome.
I like this. Great young British wrestling talent, Michael Oku and Lizzie Evo. Michael Oku's really been killing it at Rev Pro UK as their cruiserweight champion, and he is doing some fantastic things. But hey, I'll tell you what, me spouting off did create a lot of conversation in the comments, so thank you for that. And it's always good to get that type of interaction with our listeners, so feel free to comment if you want to call us out on anything we say, even if you want to say we're too positive or whatever.
Also announced for 1PW's Fan Slam meet and greet is Katie Forbes, RVD's wife, who is a very funny lady if you watch some of the stuff that she has done previously on Impact.
Former ROH champion Tony Deppen is said to make his UK debut at Rev Pro UK's Cruel Intentions on the 28th of May.
Epic Encounters on the 22nd of May is almost sold out for Rev Pro. So get your tickets sooner rather than later. The first 5 rows have now all been sold with limited floor and balcony tickets remaining. Epic Encounters is looking like it's going to be a brutally good show.
Yeah, Will Ospreay versus Minoru Suzuki. You've got the Velocities versus Aussie Open. I'm sure there was the women's championship match has been announced, but I can't remember for definite. But yeah, as you say, looks to be great, and that's fantastic news to see promotions doing this, because York Cole has the capacity to be around 800 to 900 people, and that's fantastic to see. When I saw their Raw Deal show at the Gordon Craig, again, high capacity, and it was almost full. It looked fantastic. It'd be interesting to see how their May 28th goes with Cruel Intentions, which is to show that former ROH TV champion Tony Deppen will be at. He recently lost his championship to Minoru Suzuki at the Supercard of Honor show.
Right, I'm going to let you do the Noah story because I'm going to mispronunciate so many things.
Yeah, probably me too, because they don't always have English commentary on pro wrestling, Noah, but when they do. Chris Ridgway is making his long-awaited return to Pro Wrestling Noah Ring, where he will be teaming with Yoshinari Ogawa, the leader of the Stinger faction. They'll be facing a team of... Now, these are the ones. This is the one that I think it is
Atushi,
Kotage, and Yohei. I love Yohei. He's fucking brilliant. He's got a great look and is extremely athletic. He's sometimes an often underrated junior heavyweight, and they are the current Noah junior heavyweight champions, tag team champions. So they are going to be on the line as as Kotage and Yohei defend against Chris Ridgway and Ogawa. This is actually the first time Ogawa has teamed with someone from the UK, because he used to team up with Zack Sabre Jr. The pair were 2-time junior heavyweight tag team champions. And someone might have to correct me, but I thought Kotage and Yohei were members of Springer. I mean, I know they were Full Throttle, but I need to catch up on I will be watching this because I do still have my Wrestle Universe pass. So I'm going to check this out. Of course, I'm just follow is Chris Ridgway. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. So a couple of final bits of news here. Tyson Fury has mentioned the fact that you don't want to rule him out of appearing at the Cardiff Premium Live event. This was something he said during the press conference, because I think he was in a fight last night. Don't rule me out of fighting there. You might see me at SummerSlam. I got to speak to Vince and the boys. I know Drew McIntyre has been saying a lot of things about me. I'd love to be at Cardiff. So there you go. Tyson Fury, Drew McIntyre. Who did we joke about the fact that it'll probably end up being Drew McIntyre and Tyson Fury in the main event?
We joked with the guys from
well, let's not say who we, but yeah, we were joking with them about it, and it looks like their prophecy probably will come true. But either way, I'm sure it's going to be an interesting match. I mean, he didn't do too bad against Braun Strowman back, did he?
No, he didn't do too badly
exactly.
at all. But then again, at the moment,
shape.
it seems that every celebrity WWE bring in is better than half the bloody roster.
Well, I don't know. They just, a lot of these celebrities that they do bring in are typically natural athletes, so you can understand why they have some of the gifts that they have, and they just highlight those gifts. But if he tries to run them in a long period, I'm sure you'd start to see, the flaws in them. But the other one I wanted to talk about was the World Tag Team Festival, WXW 2022. They have released the lineup for the 4 days. You got the Inner Circle on Friday, the 30th of September. And then on Saturday, you have Femme Fatales is the afternoon show, which I believe is a very quick 8-women tournament. And then you've got night one of the Tag Team Festival itself on later that evening on the Saturday. On the Sunday, there is an episode of We Love Wrestling, and the second night of that, the World Tag Festival, and then you have another We Love Wrestling Wildcard Edition, and then the third and final night of the World Tag Team Fair Festival. And I completely forgot about this was happening on the 1st of October. And I actually looked at prices for me to travel, and it just randomly, you know what? It would be less for me to travel to Germany, stay for 2 nights and come back than it would be for me to go to one night of either Doncaster or Manchester. But I'm thinking that maybe, because it's Manchester, I could probably go to miss day one, go to South Pro on the Saturday, then fly out Saturday night following the show to arrive in time for night 2 and then night 3. So
some good commitment there to Brit Wres and to European wrestling in general.
Yeah, I just had, they do have a deal with a hotel as well, like £64 for a single room per night, and you get a free t-shirt and breakfast each night, and then for a double room it's only £85.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
And again, you get the t-shirt for each person and breakfast each night as well. Not too bad at all, but yeah, it should be good. Anyway, I did watch WXW's most recent event on the WXW Now. Bring it up because I forgot to write it down. Terrible. Let me bring up the card again. Here we go. It opened with Dennis Cash Doolin versus Rick Salem. Dennis Cash Doolin came away with the victory. Dennis Cash Doolin from Switzerland, Rick Salem from France. The visionary, because he has a crystal ball that helps him see the future. Very good match. Tristan Archer versus Michael Knight ended up with Rot and Flot attacking Michael Knight, and then Tristan Archer joining them, and they laying a beat down. But Jörn Simmons and Michael Knight's tag team partner Bobby Guns came to make the rescue. 6-man tag was made for later. The Rotation took on Danny Frey, 2 guys from the WXW Academy. The Rotation, the rope render is fantastic. rotation came away with the win. It was Maggot defending his WXW Shotgun title again against Norman Harris. It's funny how Norman Harris has become the new sporting director, and he's won 2 lottery draws to face the Shotgun champion, Maggot. But Maggot came away with the victory once again. Gil Blanc defeated Senza Volto, what was a bit of an upset. Good match. Vincent Heisenberg and Oscar went to war. The giant from the north and the giant from New Zealand, who's technically Austrian, but they literally kicked the crap out of each other. Vincent Eisenberg won by count out, and then Baby Allison defeated Baby Ava Everett of America, sending her home without a title because Baby Allison retained the women's championship. I love Baby Allison; she's got great energy about her. And then finally it was the 6-man tag, and I've saved this about. Do you want to know the tag team name for Bobby Guns and Michael Knight?
Go on.
Only Friends. So it was Jan Simmons and Only Friends versus Tristan Archer and Rot and Flot. This was an excellent 6-man tag, and it broke down into chaos at times, and it was just a really hard-hitting match at the same time. Good show, 3.5 sugars. This will be available on the WWE Network in about 3 weeks.
Excellent. Shall I do NXT UK?
If you would, I need a break.
We started off with a video for the Tag Team Championships. This was even before the titles, so we had that. We then went into Sam Grabwell versus Kenny Williams in a back alley street fight. The rules are, there are no rules except that the pin has to be done in the ring.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So that's what happens in the streets. You have to pin the person in the ring.
Yeah. Perfect sense. Yeah, it was good. Lots of fighting on the outside, lots of bins being thrown. And then all of a sudden, a man in a strange mask stood in front of Kenny Williams and distracted him. And that let Grabwell get a little bit more control. Finally, they both got into the ring and somebody rung the bell because, of course, you have to have a bell rung in a street fight as well. There was some good moves. There's a beautiful big back body drop from Grabwell. Absolutely stunning. Lots more hits with bins, with fire extinguishers. Grabwell hit a big power slam onto a bin. That looked nasty. Loved it. Williams decided to try and focus on Grabwell's surgically repaired knee, which only makes sense, but Grabwell managed to get more control. The masked man again put Williams off, and Grabwell managed to put Williams through a table on the outside and got the 1, 2, 3 back in the middle of the ring. Then the masked man came out to the ring and chased Williams to the back. Who do we think the masked man is?
Amir Jordan.
Who?
Amir Jordan.
I hadn't even thought of that, and that's blindingly obvious.
I know. It was, I was like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Think. Oh, it's Amir Jordan, isn't it? Because you think, because I was like, whoever it's not big guy.
Could be Tate.
Could be Tate. It could be interesting. But yeah, Amir Jordan, because if you remember, Kenny sent him packing, and I believe technically all he's been doing is doing PR for the WWE.
He has been gone for over a year, so yeah, that's good. Okay, well, if it is that, I'll be happy. We then had an Eddie Dennis video about needing to break in Wild Boar, but being interrupted by Mandrews, and now they're going to have a tag team match against Symbiosis. Meh.
Yeah.
Stevie Turner versus Emilia Mckenzie. Lock up, clean break from Mckenzie. Lock up, slaps from Turner. Yay, I like Stevie Turner. It was a good match. It was nothing special, but it was a good match. It was short. Mckenzie hit a mass effect out of nowhere for a 2 count, then 2 spears to get to the 1, 2, 3. It was short, but I like that we're getting stronger matches from Mckenzie to finally build her up against Satomura eventually.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I definitely like that. But I just feel like on NXT UK recently, the women have been very hard done by, and this feels like they got hard done by again. They just got a short, quick match.
I think Stevie Turner's hard done by.
I think Stevie Turner is, but the division is only so big. You can only push so many people at the same time. So I'm sure she'll get her time. It's just her time's not yet.
We then had a video package with Isla Dawn saying in 2 weeks' time, there will be a World of Darkness, and it'll be a World of Darkness match. So a lights out match?
I don't know.
A blindfold match?
Is there a reason for it? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the last match was all right, so this one should be. The Americans are coming.
Yeah, some of the new stars of NXT 2.0. Don't ask me to name them, so I'll let you.
Von Wagner.
Yeah, he was the big one with the hair that's going to be taking on Saxon Huxley, obviously.
Flash legend Ivy Nile and Damon Kemp. I know
Ivy Nile's the really buff looking girl. She looks badass. I've only seen like pictures. She just looks like a badass because she looks absolutely ripped.
Yeah. But Von Wagner versus Saxon Huxley should be a really good match.
Big stupid man.
Yes. We then had a video package with Eliza Alexander and Bratty Brookside. Bratty Brookside will be in action next week, and someone will get battered.
I like that. That was a great little segment, between the two. I like that, and I loved how happy both of them looked while they were in this position. So I like this.
It was then announced that for the 200th episode of NXT UK, we will have Jordan Devlin versus Ilya Dragunov for the title. And that will be in 3 weeks' time. And we will have a contract signing next week.
It'll be, I was really disappointed when they turned their empty arena match into just a hardcore match. And so hopefully the singles match, it'll be a good match. I mean, our feelings on Mr. Devlin. WWE, if they did an investigation, should have been a bit more clear about what they found, but it should be a good match nonetheless.
Yep. Now we're going to have a disagreement here. I'm going to have my grumpiness. Half an hour left of the show.
Grump away, do it. Join the dark side. It is dark.
So it was the best 2 out of 3 falls match for the tag team championships with Mustache Mountain versus Smith and Carter. Now, I have no problems with them giving this match the half hour with entrances. That's all good. And my microphone's fallen over. That's all good.
That's how angry he is already. He's already throwing things around the room, ladies and gentlemen.
Really am. I just could not get into this. I have been watching this match or variations of it for what feels like the last 3 months.
Never-ending story.
Now, I love Smith and Carter. I'm so glad fans are there to get into them. I love Mustache Mountain, but I'm bored. And I know it was a good match, but I couldn't get into it at all because
without Pretty Deadly, that tag team division is so stale. There's just no glamour to the NXT UK tag team division anymore without Pretty Deadly.
I'm not going to argue with that, but basically we had half an hour.
Argue with me in the comments, Stephen.
So that we could end up with Trent putting his feet on the ropes to get the pin.
Again, yeah, I know, a variation of the same finish that we've seen in his match against Ashton Smith, in the match that they had more recently for the Tag Team Championships, and as you say, again here. And thanks to Cultaholic, who have spoiled tapings of NXT UK.
Which we aren't going to discuss any further than that.
Well, we won't discuss, but we will say that we know where this is going and we know that it's going to continue.
Basically, I'm not going to give it negative scores on that because I know it was a good match. I know it was a really good match. I know that Smith and Carter are fantastic. I know that Mustache Mountain are fantastic.
Why don't go on? Moan about the fact that NXT UK is growing a little stale. We are seeing the same performers in the same matches. There are people who need to move on. There are people who need to be brought in to NXT
and I think
UK.
That is happening. They brought the Americans over to give a bit of variety, a little bit of spice. We've just had Tate come in, even if it is only for a sort of like one and done. Hopefully he'll come back. We've had Lizzie Evo come in as Eliza Alexander, who is going to be absolutely brilliant. There is the masked man that's going to arrive. I think
who
we are going to have
Amir Jordan.
Yeah, but that's still a blast from the past.
It's like, yeah. It's nice to see some people have, because Nathan, we've got Nathan Fraser Naked, they've moved on to mainland 2.0. I'm sure Emilia at some point is probably going to go to 2.0, and I'm probably going to think sooner rather than later. I don't expect him to drop the title to Devlin. He may do. Devlin, in WWE's eyes, would be a deserving champion.
At least we have Gallas splitting up.
At least Gallas are splitting up. That's going to provide some new. We definitely need new tag teams. That's 100. You know, we really need a couple of tag teams to come through, and with the loss of Pretty Deadly, I think.
Bring in Brendan White, put him with Danny, get them going.
The Greedy Souls, the Smoking Aces. I can't see why the WWE wouldn't want to have Charlie Sterling and Nick Riley. They look fantastic. They wrestle fantastic. They're an extremely good tag team, despite only being together for like a year. They can easily rival the top tag teams out there. But you've also got teams like Kings of the North.
Kings of the North are too rough around the edges, and
Sunshine Machine could be, I'm not saying you'd have to bring them in to make them NXT UK Tag Team Champions, but they would certainly add some variety to the tag division.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we need, and I think hopefully Tyler Bate will move on soon as well.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed with just things going. I just feel like there needs to be a bit more change in NXT UK because they're running the risk of doing what NXT did, and that was keeping people around for too long. And people get bored eventually.
If you're a development company, you've got to move people along so you can develop more people.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to let people go as well.
Yeah,
it's just the way. It's business. Did you watch ICW this week?
I did not watch ICW this week for the simple reason that, as I have been commenting quite regularly, I'm up for election. It's less than 2 weeks to go. I have been door knocking on so many doors. And yes, unfortunately, my access to wrestling is limited. However, I have booked an entire day out for next week to go to PEW.
That's excellent news. I tell you what, though, quickly do a campaign for your spot. Who knows who's watching? You never know. Voting's important, people.
You know what? I'll just do a straight up one for everybody and anybody. I'm not going to say this as a Labour councillor. I'm just going to say this as a councillor. Get out and vote. Speak, talk to people, and get out and vote, because the more the people come and vote, the more difference it makes. You need your bins emptying. You want to go and play in the park and have it clean and tidy. You want to make sure that you're driving down the road and you don't end up with a smashed up car from your potholes going. Get your local councillors involved, get them working for you, and please vote for them, because unless you vote, the same thing's going to happen all the time.
And if you have issues with British wrestling, raise your voice.
Yes.
So it's as simple as that. Where were we? Okay, Rev Pro UK and Progress. I will do these as quickly as I can. Yoshihiro defeated Mysterio. Rio O'Reilly defeated Hyan. Dan Maloney and Lee Hunter defeated Ricky Knight Jr. and Robbie X. Carl Fletcher defeated Luke Jacobs. Shota Umino defeated Lucian Phillips. Alex Windsor defeated Alison Kay to retain the Rev Pro UK British Women's title. Alex Coughlin defeated Mark Davis, and Sunshine Machine defeated Connor at Destination Everywhere, Connor Mills and Michael Oku. This was Rev Pro UK live at the 59. I would give this show 3.5. There were some really great matches. The Carl Fletcher and Luke Jacobs one in particular was a candidate for a match of the year show match. It was absolutely phenomenal. Alex Windsor against Alison Kay, very, very strong contender for being a match of the year again. The tag team match, lots of fun. Alex Coughlin versus Mark Davis was absolutely brutal and brilliant. And
still haven't watched Coughlin wrestle.
You've got to watch Coughlin wrestle, especially this match against Mark Davis. Just watch this show, and I like Lee Hunter has turned heel and joined Dan Maloney, and I like this because we've been saying Lee Hunter is fantastic. But yeah, I would give this show 3.5 sugars. Progress, Who Run the World, is actually now available on the WWE Network as well as on demand on Progress on Demand Progress. It was open up with tag team match. Mercedes Blaze and Tonga defeated the Royal Aces, Charlie Morgan and Jetta. Alex Windsor defeated Holidead. Alexis Falcon defeated Lana Rodson. Sky Smithson defeated Laura DiMatteo. Laura DiMatteo. God, why did you do that? Pan-African Dysphoria Wrestling World Title match. Trisha Doria retained her title against Rio, and Giselle Shaw retained the Progress Women's title against Session Moth Martina. Okay, so this was really unfortunately not well attended at all. And it was a shame because honestly, this was better than everything. Not everything bad was bad. I gave it 4 sugars, but I'm going to give Who Run the World, I'm going to give it 4.5. Honestly, I really liked Jade and SoCal Val on commentary. I would honestly prefer we have them as the constant Progress commentary team because they were brilliant and I think they were better than, despite only doing it for the first time together.
Have them loop in and out because I love SoCal Val as a commentator. She was brilliant on World of Sport.
She was absolutely brilliant on World of Sport. I mean, yeah, I would like to see Jade on commentary more as well. She adds fantastic insight as a color commentator, as somebody who's wrestled, or somebody who's recovering from injury at the moment. Her insight was fantastic. Alex Windsor versus Holly Dead could honestly be match of the year.
I love Holly Dead.
This was really, really good. If you like Holly Dead, like Alex Windsor, you want to watch this match. This was really good. This was the best match of the show. And that's saying something when you had Trisha Dora versus Rio, which was the second best match of the show, which was absolutely fantastic. Both of those, everyone on the card was fantastic. Smiths and DiMatteo, really, really good match. Session Moth and Giselle Shaw, lots of antics and Session Moth, but she really showed that she deserved to be right there with Giselle Shaw, and she has a great career ahead of her as a top star that she could be and deserves to be. This show I would give 4.5 sugars. I loved everything patterned. I think that was a great show, but of the 2 specials, this all-women show this was a great show. This was an amazing show, and it is a shame that it didn't have the attendance that it deserved. And more power to all of these ladies who kick absolute arse.
And we're going to go straight into talking about another all-women show because we're going to go into our picks of next week. And we're going to start off with TNT.
Yeah, Sirens Fury in Liverpool. And I really like this because Jade's going to be on commentary again, and she's going to be doing it with Visage.
Yeah.
Jay Wolford will be doing the announcing. She also did the announcing for the All Women's show for Progress. And again, she did a great job hosting. So this is brilliant. Matches. We know that the Uprising are going to be there. Rhea Ripley and Sky Smithson, but they have not been announced in a match as yet, but we'll talk about what could happen at some point during that. You've also got the Sirens Rumble for a number one contendership. Harley Hudson, Clementine, Ava White, Heidi Katrina, Lana Austin, Lucia Lee, Kira Chimera, Gia Adams, Tonga, and Aurora Tevez. And then
any of them.
Really, this is a great Rumble. And it's great to see Clementine making her way to TNT Extreme, I think, for the first time. Aurora Tevez will make her main show debut. Lucia Lee, the same. And fair play. Good. This should be great. As should Session Moth Martina versus Alex Windsor. That should be absolutely excellent. The Live Birds, Lizzie Evo and Angel Hayes will be facing the She-Wolves. Now, will this turn into a possible women's tag team title match? Because they unveiled on Twitter earlier today brand new women's tag team titles. And will the Uprising want to assert themselves into the match? And who will be the first women's tag team champions? We'll answer that once we've gone through the rest of the card. You've also got Emerson Jane versus Lucy Sky, Riho versus Maxie Impaler versus Ivy versus Alexis Falcon for the women's championship in the main event.
And again, that's a main event where you can't pick the winner just by looking at it. This is what we love. TNT, you have done so well with this card.
Indeed. This is the third all-women's show that TNT Extreme have done. They did the all-women's deathmatch tournament last year, then their first ever fight, Sirens Fury, and this is their second Sirens Fury. I think having Maxine Impaler in the main event is fantastic. I can't wait for that stare down, that inevitable stare down between Rio and the Maxie Impaler. You know that's going to be good. But let's talk about those tag team titles, women's tag team titles. Who do we see holding them for the first time? Will it be the Live? Will it be the She-Wolves? Or will it be the Uprising?
Well, I can understand why all three of those teams would have a right to call it. But for me, the She-Wolves as the former tag team champions of TNT Extreme have got to be the favourites.
Yeah, but they could play this the long game where everybody expects it's going to be the She-Wolves. Many expected Mustache Mountain to be the first NXT NXT UK tag team champions, and look at how long it took them to finally achieve that goal.
Yeah, but they're not as scary as the She-Wolves.
They are not as scary as the She-Wolves, but you know, you got the Live Birds, Lizzie Evo, and Angel Hayes. Then there's some scary girls, and so are the Uprising, Rhea Ripley and Sky Smithson. They're all some scary ladies. I wouldn't want to mess with. Any one of these three could end up as tag team champions.
They really could. In the same way that any one of the four could end up as the women's champion. Great card, great booking. I am looking forward to watching this.
Me too.
And where can I watch it?
I don't know yet.
We'll have to wait and find out.
We'll have to wait and find out where we're going to be able to watch TNT Extreme, because unfortunately, obviously, they parted ways from Powered 4 TV recently. Tune in next week, because guess what I'm going to be doing next week? I'm going to be giving you my top 10 matches from Powered 4 TV for the month of April. For the first time, this is a new segment we will be doing every month. It will be the top 10 Powered 4 TV matches. And if you want to watch, you want to check out all those matches and you want to do so, and you want to do that for free, all you have to do is sign up, use our promotional code TPOD, TEAPOD, POD. That'll entitle you to 33 days. It is $7.99. Afterwards, there's so much great British wrestling on there. Support British wrestling and help support us.
Yay. Friday the 29th of April, the showdown in Sedgley. Lucia Lee has an open challenge. Regan will be taking on Lucas Cashmere for the King of the
Division.
Thank you. Championships. Luke Basham versus Wesker and the 0121 versus the Clarkwood brothers.
0121. And then on the 30th of April, Saturday, there's a lot of good wrestling happening. And one of them is Pro Wrestling Chaos in Bristol. Mark Haskins versus Danny Jones for the King of Chaos Championship. Laura Di Matteo versus Jetta. Laura Di Matteo. The Smoking Aces versus Sunshine Machine versus the Dead Sap Boys. That's Jay Joshua and Billy Hayes. Brendan White versus Eddie Ryan, the British Lion.
UKPW's Raynham Rampage takes place in Raynham, Essex. We have Tommy Lawrence versus Mike Bird, Sapphire Reed versus Kira Chimera, Fentos versus Buff Broadside, Alexander Roth and KM Lane versus Callie Gray and Jack Kent, Amira Alves versus Darcy Stone, The Nail versus Dow Jones, and a Raynham Rumble with 15 men competing for a chance to challenge for the UKPW Inter-Regional Championship held by the Kid Without Fear, Danny Black.
ICW presents the Wrestling Experience Scotland Wrestling Live in Maryhill. Ravy Davey versus Leighton Buzzard, Shekel Sharm versus Jack Jester, Anastasia versus Molly Spartan, Jason Reed versus Danny Black. I'd really like to be interested in seeing how that match goes.
That's Black.
Jimmy Pierce and Logan Smith versus Thatcher's Cabinet, BT Gunn versus Jack Morris. No, Jason Reed.
Yep, that will be good. Phenomenal Elite Wrestling. I shall be there in person for Foregone Conclusion in Stratford-upon-Avon. We have got Aurora versus Ruby Radley in the Fallen Angel Tournament quarterfinals. Big Guns Joe versus Chase Alexander. Mariah May versus Echo Reed in a Fallen Angel Tournament quarterfinal. James Mason versus Polish Barry versus Toby Valentine versus the champion for the Internet Championship.
Good old H-Hudge, the Internet Champion of PEW, the greatest Internet Champion PEW has ever seen.
The only Internet Champion.
And therefore the greatest PEW Champion.
Lance Rivera and Chocolate Thunder will team up to take on the team of the Rebellion for the Tag Team Championships.
That's
and
the
if you
pink
want to
and
know,
purple princes.
It is indeed. If you want to know more about this match, listen to our special that we have just done where we interview Lance Rivera,
the Playboy
girlfriend's
Prince.
favourite wrestler. Also, Harley Hudson versus Rio versus Aurora Tevez for the Women's Championship match, and Martin Kirby versus Just Joe Lando for the Men's Championship.
That should be a great match. I know they've competed a few times recently, and they've all been good. On Sunday, the 1st of April, Rev Pro UK, I've got Unfinished Business in Sheffield. Michael Oku versus Shota Umino. Rhea O'Reilly versus Alex Windsor for the Women's Championship. Pure Beef versus Sunshine Machine for the Tag Team Championships. Dan Maloney versus RKJ. Robbie X versus Lee Hunter. Connor Mills versus Yoda Suji. Mad Kurt and Dan McGee versus Lycos Jim. You know what? I'm gonna have a moan. I'm gonna be negative.
Go on.
I'm gonna be moan. I'm gonna be negative. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna be positive after that.
There's only one women's match on an eight match card.
That's fair enough to moan about.
And I don't think that's good enough for what is considered to be one of the top promotions in the UK.
I'm very glad that he's still here, but I'm surprised Yota Tsuji's still on his tour of the UK.
Oh, they do long excursions at NJPW. I mean, Shota Umino's been with Rev Pro for UK for over a year now.
Yeah, but so's Yota.
Okay, very well. Shota's probably done 2 years now. Then make that then. But I think Shota turned up at the NJPW Strong show, but obviously he's back in the UK now. I hope they stay for a little bit longer. Obviously, they add a lot of things to Rev Pro UK. They keep Rev Pro UK unique because obviously they rarely compete elsewhere. Obviously, Yoshihiro did compete at Wrestle Carnival, and
Yes,
Shota competed at OTT, but on that's very rare occasions do you see those two outside of Rev Pro UK. The same with Aussie Open.
We're digressing. Let's go back to our shows that are on Saturday. SWW
Sunday.
Wrestling.
On Sunday the 1st, yeah.
SWW Wrestling Combat Volume 7 in Bristol. Chris Bronson versus James Mason. Alex Carter versus, I have scrolled up too quickly, Jimmy Meadows. There we go. Now I'll scroll up a bit faster. Tate Mayfairs versus Nico Angelo for the Openweight Championship match. That'll be a good one. Lizzie Evo versus Chantel Jordan versus Alexis Falcon. That'll be an amazing one. Kian Fox Kelly versus Flynn Burden versus Big Jim Diehard versus Chris Adams. Sid Oakley versus Callie Gray. Jack Stars versus JD Knight. And the Smoking Aces versus the Greedy Souls.
And then you've got Reach Wrestling with Live in Tavistock in Tavistock. Grayson Reeves versus Eddie Ryan for the Heavyweight Championship. LA Taylor versus Aurora for the Women's Championship. Jordan Sparks versus Alexander Gray in a submissions match for the Academy Championship. Lucky versus Country Big and Southwest Express. Joey Seven and Toby Valentine versus Winners and Sinners. PJ Jones and Marcus Bain.
Championship Wrestling have Bring Me Sunshine in Huddersfield. Warhorse versus Brady Phillips for the TWC Heavyweight Championships. Simon Miller versus Jack Turner. Sean Only versus Chris Egan. Bo Bells versus Natalie Sykes. The Sunshine Machine versus Tom Felwell and Luke Jacobs. Oh, nice combination. Man Like Therese versus HT Drake and Ivy versus Riho in a Falls Count Anywhere match for the TWC Women's Championship.
Good match. Good card. Good card. Let's talk about some other things that are happening around the UK in the next few weeks with our further roundup. Pro Wrestling East. Pro Wrestling East have announced their 8th and final matchup, and that is at their Wrestle Bunch show. It is a multi-man scramble, one full finish, fatal four-way match, basically. Ollie Peace versus Levi Muir versus the main attraction MK and versus Sky O Short.
DOA Tag Team Champions, the Lads, make their return to DOA at Viva Lads Vegas. Who will be the ones to step up and challenge them when DOA return to Bury St Edmunds on the 21st of May? Superstar Pro Wrestling, 2 matches have been announced for the upcoming In Your Scouse show on the 14th of May. 9 Stone of Scouse Power, the Scouse Mouse powerhouse, Harley Hudson herself, is set to face the Liverbird, Lizzie Evo. And
could you get a more Liverpool match?
No, not unless they both came out wearing shell suits. And Isaac North will defend his Superstar Championship against the undefeated Connor Klein.
But yeah, Lizzie Evo versus Harley Hudson should be an absolutely fantastic battle.
We've just aged ourselves with that comment.
Calm down. Odyssey Pro Wrestling, the main event of OPW's Mutiny on the 18th of June in Morecambe, has been said it will be Alexis Falcon who will challenge Tonga for the OPW Women's Championship. And you out there, the fans, have the choice of matchup. Get on their Patreon and you can vote for what matchup they participate in.
It's almost like Taboo Tuesday.
Almost. It's Patreon Tuesday.
DNA Pro Wrestling. Amira Ares. Ares. Anyway, she'll be announced, as will Ava White, Nico Angelo, Forrest Hayes, and Brendan White for Why It's Spicy on the 18th of June in Ipswich.
I have no idea why it's spicy, but it looks like a spicy show. Wrestle Island have announced a 30-person rumble for their This Is the Way show on the 29th of May. 20 Island regulars and 10 special guests. 20 Island regulars include Lucy Sky, Lucia Lee, RPD, Joey Hayes, Dan Evans, Alyssa Inc., Connor Klein, The Chocolate Thunder, James Reed, Tommy Jackson, Carl Kingsley, Scott Oberman, Polish Barry, Sean Only, and more.
Sounds good. Some quick Euro news. Passion Pro 4 Hungary. The first match for Passion Pro 4 is now available to watch on their YouTube channel with English commentary. Thank you very much, Passion Pro. See how Corey McRae gets on in his match as part of the Zafar Amen team, along with Dennis Cash-Dueling and Ivor Klofsky, to face the team Maverick, led by Maverick, with Agil Blanc, Malkay, and Orsi.
Yeah, Orsi. I saw this actually. I checked it out. Good fun match. 3 sugars.
Hey.
CT Wrestling in Portugal. It's LJ Cleary will be hosting a wrestling seminar in CT Wrestling. This is on the 14th of May in Lisbon at the Academia Recordavia, at an academy in Portugal in Lisbon.
Where's your sense of adventure? Recreativa de Ajuda. So I apologise to anyone Portuguese for my appalling enunciation.
Indeed, but why wouldn't you want to go learn from LJ Cleary in the sun of Portugal?
Okay, let's see if I can do this one a bit better. Lucha Libre Barcelona's House of Lucha in Spain. British superstars Winston and Levi Muir have been announced for House of Lucha. NXT UK's Levi Muir and WAW's Winston will be there on the 22nd of May in Barcelona. I saw Winston the other day. He is a really, really good wrestler.
You listed him as 6'9".
Yes, he is a big old boy, and he moves so well for somebody of his size.
Levi Muir is no small man to be sniffed at either. He's a big old boy, very athletic as well. Body Slam Wrestling in Denmark. Emerson Jane will defend the Body Slam Women's Championship for the first time in a fatal 4-way against Jessica Love, Regina Rosendahl, and Alice Inc. And this is at the Great Scandinavian Bash on the 7th of May.
Nice. The Italian Wrestling Association, Big Roy Wavy Johnson and Peter Tiani have been announced to be part of their 6th anniversary show on the 19th of November this year.
And yeah, I think they're still also accepting applicants. So British wrestlers, if you want to get yourselves out to Italy, send in your applications now with your wrestling CV. Indeed. Get yourself out there. And with that said, just remember, don't feed the trolls.